Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel. My name is Miley. If you are new here, I do a new DIY video every single week. And this week, I am in my gross, disgusting, messy basement because I am finally getting started on my basement makeover. And I have so much to do down here that I'm just going to jump right into getting started and explain it as I go along. So without further ado, let's get started on this basement makeover. Welcome to my basement. Yeah, like I said, it is very messy, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I pushed starting this project off for months now because I was a little intimidated to get started. I have so much planned down here, and some of the projects are big renovations, and this is going to be the biggest transformation I have done thus far, so starting it was a little daunting, and I also didn't even know where to start. Over the last almost year of living in this house, anytime I finished a project upstairs, all the furniture and things I didn't want, well, ended up down here. So the first task was really not that exciting. I needed to clean and get things out of here. There's a coursing river with all the strength of a great typhoon. Okay, I just got started and I'm already distracted. So, okay, what's the plan here, man? What's the plan here? Yep, so the plan was to get all of my tools out to the shed where somewhere down the road I am going to be turning that into a dope workshop, and then everything I no longer wanted I listed on Facebook Marketplace. And I was hoping throughout the week people would just come and buy things and get things out of here. And this Facebook Marketplace thing turned into a full-time job. I had to respond to people quickly so that they wouldn't lose interest in whatever I was selling. I had to set up times for them to come pick things up, and then I would have people also just randomly ghost me, so I had to quickly respond to the next person in line, and it was just a lot. But I put all that stuff in a pile in the corner and slowly started getting things out of here throughout the week. And everything with this cleaning thing was going okay. I mean, I thought this was going to take me a few hours in the morning and I was going to be able to get to painting in the afternoon, but this actually took me all day to clean. I think I wildly overestimate with almost every project what me, myself, and I can get done in a few hours. And I was just about to finish up everything for the day, and the last thing, literally the last thing I lifted, had paint in it, and it busted out of this cabinet and paint went everywhere. And I wasn't really sure what to do, so I just started spreading the paint out and basically painting this concrete floor. Okay, I was gonna do more tonight, but now that we've had the great spill of 2021, I'm just gonna call it a night and start tomorrow morning. Good morning. Yeah, the gallon of paint that I spilled is now dry, so I was able to wake up and finish up the last few things that I had to do for cleaning. I had some people come and pick up 2 of the shelves and a nightstand that I was selling on Facebook Marketplace. The cart that I had in my kitchen is now gone and out of here. And I have some more people picking up some stuff, the rest of my stuff, later today. My plan for today is to paint all of the wood paneling. I originally was going to rip out all the paneling and switch it over to drywall, but I just finished rewatching Downton Abbey for like the 4th time, and down in the servants' quarters there's this beautiful greenish gray wood paneling, and I slowly fell in love with the way it looked. So that's when I changed up my plan of ripping out the paneling and just kind of embracing the way it looks and painting it. I of course picked up some samples, so I'm gonna test out these samples and then go get paint. But the one thing that I might have to do My wood paneling is more of a rustic look. It's not smooth at all. So I might have to sand all of the wood before I even paint it, which will be so fun. So much fun. So that's the plan for today. I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna need more of this. So testing out this paint, I knew from the first few strokes I was going to have to do some sanding. I didn't mind a little texture coming through, but the grain was really rough, so a little sanding went a long way. And the color I wanted to paint this paneling, I had to get perfect. Usually I'm not super duper nitpicky with shades, but if I didn't see the color I was going for in this batch of 3 samples, I was gonna go out and get more samples. And the first shade right here is called Meadow Sage. I liked it, but it was a bit too green for me. I really wanted a gray with a green undertone and not a green with a gray undertone. And instantly with the second color called Gray Expose, I knew it was the color I was looking for. And the last color was called Hunter's Point, and even by the names you can tell what the leading color is. Meadow Sage, Hunter's Point both have green as the leading color, whereas Gray Expose has gray as the leading color. And just that subtle change really did make all the difference. Again, I'm not usually super nitpicky, but I really wanted to get this color just right. So I ran out and got a gallon of the Gray Expose, and then I got to work sanding. I decided to go back and forth between sanding and painting, mainly because I know myself, and if I spend hours sanding, I would quickly lose motivation. But if I stopped sanding frequently and got to paint, I knew I wouldn't lose motivation. You know, you gotta break up the bad with the good. Oh, there's me dancing again. I have a lot of clips of me painting and dancing, and sanding and dancing, but there is a reason behind all of the dancing. I am actually a dancer. Can't you tell by all these sick dance moves? And I used to have this job in college where I would go to weddings, corporate events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, really any party where there was dancing, and it was my job to get people out on the dance floor, having a good time, and just being the cool professional dancer. I'm putting that in strong quotation marks, but just to be the cool dancer at the party. And a few weeks ago, my old dance manager texted me out of the blue and asked if I wanted to work a gig this past weekend. And I was so excited to do it, but I then realized it's been a solid 5 years since I have danced at a party, and when you're paid to be a dancer at a party, you dance for 4 to 5 hours straight without stopping. And in those 5 years, I went from a cool college girl to an old married lady. So long story short, don't mind my random dancing and painting. I was just a bit nervous, so there was a lot of random impromptu dancing throughout the week. So back to painting. For the most part, this part was fairly easy, except for that whole sanding thing. And I also decided to not paint the baseboards right now because when I put in the new floors, I have to remove the baseboards, so I figured it would be easiest to just paint them when I remove them. Also, this paneling really soaked up paint like crazy. This was seriously like painting fabric. It just the paint right up, and I was only halfway through when I ran out of the gallon of paint that I got, so I had to run out quickly to Lowe's before they closed, but it was worth it because the man at the paint counter and I had a dancing and singing party while I waited for my paint. And after several hours of sanding and painting, victory was mine. So I'm finally done painting with just the first coat. Yay. So I'm gonna stop for the night because it's like 10:30 at night or something like that. I'm gonna wake up and quickly do the second coat off camera just so that I can quickly get through it, and it should be a lot easier because I don't have to sand the entire wall before I paint it. See you guys in the morning. I feel like I am in an English cottage daydream. What? So this morning was wildly uneventful. I finished the second coat and I did a bit more cleaning by just sweeping a lot. I feel like I swept up 20 years of dust. It was lovely. So if you think I'm going to do a video where I am just painting some walls, you are new to my channel. I at least like to give you guys a little something extra than just painting some walls. So there's not much I can do down here right now until we put the new floors in, but there is one project I can get to before we even put in the floors, and that is for the corner right behind me. When everything is said and done, I really want to create a fun little reading corner over here. So to create this reading corner, what I'm going to be building is a floating ladder shelf to put books on, records, and other random antique trinkets that I've gotten for down here. This should be a pretty straightforward, easy build. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. Earlier, I took some measurements, figured out how big I wanted to make this shelving unit, and then figured out how much lumber I was going to need. I ran out to Lowe's, and now I am back and ready to get started. So to start this build, I went a little out of order than what I normally do, but I think it makes sense for this project. Instead of jumping right into cutting wood, I started staining the boards I got to be the actual shelves. I got 4 of these project boards that I've used a bunch for other projects, and they come in all different sizes, and all that needed to happen to these boards was a little sanding at the ends and then staining them. And I figured, well, one side dried, I could get to work building the ladders, and once the ladders were all done, I would be able to stain the other side of the boards. After staining, I got to work cutting some 1x4s down to size, and here is my cut list / lumber list for this project. I got inspiration for this shelf from some random advertisement I think I saw on Instagram. I originally had in mind to do those industrial pipe shelves, but after seeing the shelf pop up a few more times, I really started to like the all wood look, and I also think this shelf is slightly more unique than the industrial pipe shelf I have seen in a million different places. And this helped really get a feel for what I was actually going for down here. I think that's also one of the other reasons I had such a hard time getting started down here. This part of our house is just extra space, so it was hard to narrow down what I wanted to happen down here or what the vibe was I was going for. But once I was settled on painting the paneling, I got a stronger vision for what this whole space is going to be. And after getting everything cut and putting 2 pocket holes on each end of the 12-inch pieces, I was all ready to put this thing together. But right around here, my camera died. Well, it didn't die. Something broke with the SD memory card slot. So I had to stop production for a few days because, well, 1, I had to work, and 2, I also had to figure out a camera situation. So I ended up getting a new camera, and my other camera is off getting fixed. So I had to wait a few days to finish up this project and get this video done and uploaded for you guys. And don't mind my busted face and hair. I was very tired and very sore. This was the day after the party I danced at, so my body just straight up hurt. Luckily, I didn't have much to do. To build these 3 ladders, I started off by putting the 2 end pieces on first, and I had the pocket holes facing out so that when the ladders are hung up on the wall, you won't see the pocket holes. And after that, I worked on screwing in the first 2 pieces to hold up the shelves. I measured 7 inches in from each side and screwed 2 more pieces in place. And the biggest thing about making these ladders was to make sure they were all exactly the same. No ladder piece could be off or else it would throw the whole thing off. So I triple checked all my measurements and made sure everything was super duper level before screwing them into place. And then from there, I measured 18 inches up and 36 inches up from the bottom piece, and I screwed 2 more pieces into place. And I did make sure all the pocket holes were facing the same way so that when I laid the shelf pieces on top, it would cover up the pocket holes. Once all the ladders were built, the last thing to do was stain each one of them. And I originally was going to paint each ladder black and go for a black wood look, but I changed my mind last minute, which also made me regret not getting nicer wood to build these shelves. So later down the road, I might switch the front piece of the ladder to oak or pine or something a bit nicer. But once everything was stained, I let it sit overnight. The next day, it was time to install these ladders. I started off by hanging the middle ladder, and of course, I put 1 screw in and then made sure everything was super duper level before going in and adding a bunch of screws to hold this in place. And then using a scrap piece of a 2x4, I used that to make sure the 2 outside ladders were nice and level with the middle ladder. And once I started to hang up these ladders, I did get a little concerned with how much weight these shelves could actually hold. The ladders are nice and sturdy, but the pieces of wood that are actually holding up the shelves are only a ½ inch thick. So I went ahead and ordered some large L-shaped brackets to put under each piece of wood on just the outside ladders, just so that this is a bit more stable and I can really pack these shelves with records, books, and maybe even a record player. But the brackets haven't arrived yet, so I'm gonna have to add those later on this week when they arrive. And here is the shelf all complete. Well, I guess almost all complete. And this finishes up the first week of my basement makeover. And I have so much more to do down here, but I think I made major progress this week. Just having this space cleaned up is honestly a big improvement, and I can't wait to keep going with this basement makeover. I hope you guys liked this video, and as always, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in just a few days for my normal Saturday upload. Bye guys!